Welcome back, everybody, to the Nevin Shapiro Show. I'm back with Nevin Shapiro. I'm Mike Torado. And today, believe it or not, is our 20th episode. We appreciate everybody sticking around and hanging out with us all the time. And we appreciate our fans that are very loyal, that have been commenting every day that they love the show, that they want to see more. So we're giving you guys shows every week. As you can see here, we are less than 100 subscribers away from giving away the 2001 signed defensive line. You have Vince Wilfork, William Joseph, Cornelius Green.
Man, come get this picture out of my place, will you? Somebody subscribe and win this thing already. I'm looking to dump my whole arsenal.
You heard it here.
I'm turning over a new leaf or Forrest.
So at 250 subscribers, this is going away. So before we start the show, click that subscribe button real quick, drop a thumbs up, and as always, let's get into the action. Obviously, in this whole NIL landscape, it's different nowadays. And so, what do you see as the overall difference from the guys in 2001 in your era when you were involved to the guys now, as far as their demeanors, their work ethic, the way that they approach the game,
Like,
in that aspect?
like anything else, it's an evolution in time. It's generational. Things just change. What used to be normal in the 1970s, way before your time, is not how things were at the millennium. Just we used to have black and white TVs, then it became color, then it became high definition. So it's really hard to make a comparison. It's just two different eras. These guys, we had Benny Blades and Tolbert Bain on, and they were talking, and those guys played in the mid 80s to late 80s, and you can just tell that it was just a different time. These guys were really hungry back then, man. It was survival. They had no choice but to just play through pain, play through injury, whatever. They probably had two sets of practice stuff. Like now they got like 20 different uniforms for practice. And, it's just a different, the business, it's such a big business brand and model, this NCAA landscape, that the blue bloods just get bigger. And Miami's never really been a blue blood, but they are in terms of recognition. So they're gonna have theirs. Like it's worth a Nike or an Adidas or whoever to come in with big money because you're gonna get that brand allure. It's just very hard to compare the times. It's not even fair. It's like comparing Michael Jordan to LeBron James. Both incredible. You can make a case for both being, either one being the greatest of all time, depending what era you grew up in. But it's not a fair comparison, and you'll never really get that answer. And the same goes for NIL versus non-NIL. Like, look at this defensive line. You have 8 guys here, okay? And this was, for the most part, our rotation. That was our normal rotation. So you probably had Santonio Thomas, who played the very least because he was just he was the youngest and that's a very veteran-led deep group. Vince
Mm-hmm.
Wilfork didn't even start. He's going to the Hall of Fame, right? So that tells you. So, like, what do you pay those guys? Who gets a million? Not Vince at the time because he wasn't as well known as maybe Jerome McDougal or William Joseph.
Yeah,
So what's your pay?
yeah.
10 million? 15 million for the group?
Yeah, William Joseph and Cornelius is going to get paid the most out of that group.
Well, William Joseph by far at that
Yeah,
time. He was a top 10 pick. He comes back his senior year. He dropped in stock because now there's just too many guys. Plus got hurt a little bit. So, like, there's things, but anyway, it's just really more the comparative analogy of,
right.
like, what do you pay that group?
It would be a lot.
Well, I mean, what
It
do you
would be
pay?
crazy.
Like, that's your comparison today.
Right.
How do you compare it? All right, so here's your secondary. Ready? Ed Reed, Phil Buchanan, Mike Rumpf, James Lewis, who was a third round pick. So he's the poor man of the bunch, and he was a third round pick. Sean Taylor, Antrell Roll, Kelly Jennings. First round pick, first round pick, first round pick. Al Marshall, fifth round pick. So there's 8 guys. What's that bag? 20 million? 30 million?
It would be absurd.
50 million? You might as well start a salary cap. I mean, I'm not even done with the defense. Now you got the linebackers. Vilma, inevitably DJ the following year. Chris Campbell, God rest his soul, probably a second round pick. Rocky McIntosh coming on later. I mean, the numbers are just insane. All right, so then let's go to our running back group. Okay. Clinton Portis, Willis McGahee, Frank Gore, Najee Davenport, Jason Gathers, Jared Payton. 100 million? I mean, we're at 200 million. We're not even out of the offense yet. Shockey, Winslow. Thank God Reggie Wayne and Santana Moss left to go to the league. Because had they come back, it's Reggie Wayne, Santana Moss,
Andre Johnson.
Andre Johnson. And you want to talk to me about LSU 2019? Get the fuck out of here. Anybody with that stupid shit.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Go
shoot.
Andre Johnson was just on a podcast and they asked him about it.
Oh,
and he was just like,
there's nothing
come
to
on,
say.
Guys.
You know, and I know I took a long road to a short question,
Yeah.
but like, there's no short answer. It's just two different eras, and we're in the now, and it's just another world.
Yeah, totally, 100%. So this is a question that I've always wanted to ask on the show, and I thought it would be really cool for you to dive into for the fans because we go back and forth on this. So I'm going to just narrow it to the top 3. Who are the top 3 biggest names that you missed out on in the recruiting cycle when you were in your time in Miami?
That was a curveball.
I can name one just based off our conversation.
Okay, so Anton Smith, running back who went to Florida State. Antone Smith.
Mm-hmm.
He was one. Patrick Peterson is definite, who was Patrick Johnson. And he was the MVP of the Miami camp. I think 3 out of 4 years he attended. That was a significant blow. And I know how that happened. He was locked to come to Miami. Locked.
Is there any information you could leak on that or no?
No.
Okay.
But he was locked.
Okay.
To come here. And then when he didn't, and he made a good move for himself.
Yeah.
I think he won a national title. They definitely stomped us. So he would be 2. One that I hold close to my heart because it was so easy was Orson Charles, the tight end who went to Georgia, and I believe he became an All-American. He was coming from the same high school, Plant High, as Robert Marv and Aaron Murray. He was begging us to come here, especially after his recruiting visit.
And what had happened?
Randy Shannon didn't want him.
Wow. Let me give 2 names based on our conversations. Adrian Peterson.
And Vince Young.
And Vince Young. Yep.
Yeah. Well, Vince Young, the reason Vince Young ended up not coming here is because Larry Coker promised Brock Berlin the job.
Sick, man. That still makes me sick to my stomach.
RG3 wanted to come here too.
Wow.
I was already gone, so I can't take credit for that. But yeah, Adrian Peterson.
Adrian Peterson and Vince Young. Those 2 names.
But Adrian Peterson was never going to come here because his dad was locked up in Texas, and that was an important issue for him.
But he had fun when he was down here. He had some good times, to say the least. Let's go to this. Give me your top 3 loudest games in the Orange Bowl. Top 3.
Very easy.
Okay.
For me.
All right.
Miracle in Miami, 83. Unprecedented insanity. But different level of insanity. That was an excitement insanity. When we became that gangster squad, the crowd became way more violent. So that game sort of stands in its own lore as far as like, wow. Now you get into like the chest bumping and shit talking. Here's your 3 games. Miami beating Notre Dame after they fucked us out of that bullshit fumble with Cleveland Gary. When Randall Hill caught a 3rd and 43 from Craig Erickson down the sideline.
Mm-hmm.
Bernard Clark, pick 6, going down to the east end zone. That crowd was so violent and mean and wanted blood. That's maybe number 1. But it's in the top 3. Number 2, in no specific order, when Washington fucked us the year before and beat us, Dorsey's only loss in the regular season until losing to Ohio State, supposedly. That game was just about as bananas as you could ever get. It was mean. like everyone wanted blood.
And they beat the shit out of them.
Oh man,
They beat the piss out of them.
yeah. And I would have to say, you know what? I'm going to go with those 3 games. Those
Okay.
right there. Those are my 3 games. Miracle in Miami
Yeah.
'83. And I don't put any of the Florida State games in there or the Florida games because you had a split crowd
Yeah. That's true.
always,
Right.
and you never felt like you could feel the beast in the stadium, but there was a lot of Florida State fans.
Yeah.
For obvious
Because I thought you were
reasons.
going to say the Tanover hit on
That
Florida State.
hit.
Well, we're going to get into that
Yeah,
too.
oh my
We're
God,
going to get into
man,
that.
my favorite play of all time.
So I really thought when this question you were going to say the 86 Bosworth game. I thought you
You
were
know
going to
what?
go
I'm going to
there.
put that in. You corrected me. I'm going to make that '83 Miami game
Separate.
separate because
Okay.
but that
Yeah.
'86 game, yeah,
Yeah.
there you go, man. Yeah, you
I thought
found
you
that
were
for me.
gonna,
Yeah, that's
because
it.
that was crazy.
That was,
From what
man.
even the videos I
Yeah. Oh
watched.
wow, man. It
Yeah,
was just, yeah, and we knew what was going to happen.
yeah,
Like, man, it was fucking like, and you know who really knew what was going to happen? Jimmy Johnson. This shit was personal. He
yeah.
was putting it on Barry Switzer.
Eat that shit.
Great question. Great question, Mike.
Yeah. So let's go into this one. Like I just said, top 3 hits all time at Miami. Give me your top 3.
Number one of all time is
Yeah,
Michael Barrow
yeah. This
saluting
one.
to Mark Vanover. Sean Taylor hitting PK Sam on the flip and when they were on the run. I mean, there's 2 right there, and the third hit. God, there were so many. I would just pick one, not specific, just us just doing a gangbang dance over a quarterback somewhere. Benny Blades going into his thing and just like Jesse Armstead. Man, dude, it was so fucking electric to be in that stadium, man. There was no, I've been all over. I've seen everything, whether it be business, female oriented sports, or there's no greater high than being in that Orange Bowl. Just fucking rocking with that fucking sick minds. Oh man, it was electric, man. You couldn't beat us there, man. You just could. Like
Yeah.
if we wanted blood, we were getting it. It was so great, man. So great.
There was one that came to my mind that I was a young kid, and it was late in the game in the 2001 national championship against Nebraska.
But that was on the road. I thought you
Yeah.
said at the Orange Bowl. Did you say at the
Yeah,
Orange
just
Bowl?
at Miami, just
Oh,
in
okay,
general. I
yeah.
mean,
Well,
you bring
what?
up a
John
road
Vilma
game.
sticking Darren Diedrich. I mean,
That
there's
Nebraska game, he
many.
hit him so
Listen, there's
hard.
many of those, man.
Yeah,
You know, man. There's so many.
I know.
That's an open-ended question.
It really is
The
tough.
greatest hit of all time is Michael Barrow hitting Tamarick Vanover. I mean, man, and you had to know it was also at the timing of the game. We were losing the whole game. Lamar Thomas gets behind Clifton Abraham down the sideline. We take the lead. Florida State's pushing. Next thing you know, the delay screen, rock and roll, man. Bananas.
Yeah.
Bananas.
Perfect storm, literally.
Bananas.
Yeah. So crazy. So, what was it like running out of the tunnel at Miami? Like, what was that like?
Man, it was everything. It was the greatest thrill of my life. And man, it was twice I did it. It was the greatest fucking
Like, what do you
thrill.
see when you're in there?
Fucking stars, bro. It's July 4th, man. I ran out at night and I ran out during the day. And night was different because you're just looking into the sky and it's just
Yeah,
flashes and the smoke and just the place is rocking in the tunnel and just fucking guys are the shit talking. Fuck, motherfucker. Oh, man, it's just awesome. Man, it's fucking awesome. Like, I'm not even wearing pads and I'm ready to go out there and just clock somebody's shit. Man, it was the fucking thrill of a lifetime. The thrill of a lifetime. And I negotiated that when I made my donation. So, like, I knew what I was doing.
yeah.
Man, that was just the thrill of a lifetime. I'll never forget it.
Would you say that's up there the best moments you've ever had at the U? Like when
At the U?
Yeah.
Oh, the best moment.
Okay.
It was the best.
Is that your best moment?
Yeah, you know, one of the other cool things was going to the Heisman with Willis McGahee.
Yeah. That's cool.
But that's different than that. That's really like home turf, the Orange Bowl and the tunnel. It's just so sacred. Man, Any player that's done it can tell you. But from a fan standpoint,
Yeah.
not playing and just being part of it, you could just feel the electricity, man. It's fucking wild. Wild.
So at this point in this segment, I'm sure people are wondering this question. If ever given the opportunity, would you return as a booster to Miami and try and get them back to glory?
I would never return as a booster. They wouldn't have me to begin with. I would do anything I could from a consulting standpoint to help their cause and see them get back to where they should belong. Hopefully, Mario Cristobal gets them there. I know I speak a lot of, I throw a lot of heat at Mario, but that's only because I expect a lot from him. And that's just the truth. I really do. I expect a lot from him. There's some things I've learned along the way I haven't been really happy about. It's bothered me internally, and some things that have been shared with me by former players and some other things. But Mario's a hell of a recruiter, and Mario is really about that program. And I will say he's about that program. Deep down, you get $80 million and, that gets to your head. And I understand, but he is about that program. He's about the U. He's about Miami in general. And, I respect that and I love that about him. And you really want one of your own handling business. And that's the truth. And I've never said this, right? You never heard me say this to
Nope.
you.
Nope.
So I want Mario to be successful. I kid you not. Forget what I've said and the anger and this and that. I just expect more. So if that makes me a hater, then I'm a hater. I expect more, as should the fan base. This is a guy that knows the DNA of this program, right? And so you don't win national championships. You don't win recruiting national championships. You win national championships. That's how it goes. So I'd love to see Mario do great. I don't think he'd ever want me around, not because he doesn't like me or other. Maybe it's just not proper etiquette, or I don't know what the word is. I'd love to have a say or at least give my input, and I'd be happy to share my knowledge about how to make us rock and roll. And it wasn't always illegal. It was just me really caring about some kids that needed some caring.
They needed help for
And
sure.
this was 2001, not 2025, when like guys are riding up in Lamborghini trucks. It's a different time. So I don't regret doing what I did for those kids. I would have done it 10 years prior and 10 years after. Truth be told, would I ever come back? I love the program. I've always loved the University of Miami football program specifically, and I want to see them be great again and stay where they should be on autopilot.
Yep.
They should not miss the playoffs ever,
Ever. I
ever,
agree with that.
ever,
Absolutely. With the talent, it's just not
ever,
even.
ever. So, hopefully that answers your question. People are going to hate me. Fuck this guy, this and that. Okay, whatever. It's all right. That's your opinion. But, you got to really, you got to really kick the tires and see what I was responsible for behind the show,
Right.
behind the curtains.
And if people knew what you know,
Yeah.
they wouldn't.
Yeah.
It's
That's
hard
it.
because we can't release
Yeah. I mean,
everything. We
listen, it is what it is, man. I
right.
don't, I got nothing to prove. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'm on a redemption tour within myself of what I've had to endure. And I'm in a good standing with myself internally. And that to me is more important than anything,
100%.
And so, I expect Miami to be great. I hope Mario Cristobal does great. I don't want him to lose. I just want him not to lose.
Yep.
Right? Right? Fan base? Not to lose. We're not here to win Pop Tart championships. We're here to win national championships. Not even ACC championships, national championships.
Yep.
That's what it's about.
Yep.
We never talked about winning the Big East back when. We just went out. Who do we play and how are we getting to the national title and winning? That's it.
Mentality. Yep.
That's it. Conference championships, even though we haven't won one, that's not relevant. What's relevant is national championships. And you get
Absolutely.
that, the ACC championship becomes not such a big deal because
Yeah.
you expect it.
Yeah. It's just an
That's
autopilot.
it. It's a mindset, man.
Yep.
And that's it, man. So, like, if I have to make an apology to Mario Cristobal, I'm apologizing. But I'll really apologize if you fucking kick ass, go undefeated, win a national title. And I'll bring you your fucking cafe con leche. I'm happy to do so.
Yeah.
Did I
Absolutely.
did I say it? Like,
Yeah.
was that like? I mean, is there anything else? Can a Miami fan pick something out of that that's not accurate?
Right.
You can't.
But
This is what it is.
this is the last question. Final question. It's going to segue right into it. So when we've done our podcast, obviously this is our 20th episode. So in a few podcasts ago, you alluded to the initial collapse of the program was
Yeah.
due to the re-upping of Larry Coker's contract.
2005, yeah.
Yep. It has been 20 years since that has taken place. In your own opinion, why has Miami not returned to dominance since then?
Well, I thought we were on our way back 2008. We had things in place. Like there was progress that was made. 2008, and I've said this before, no knock on Randy Shannon. I'm not going to ever get personal about this stuff.
Yeah.
I told you I won't do that anymore. But I got to be honest about the question, right? It's only me being fair to the whoever's viewing this,
Yeah.
right? I think Randy should have been better. I think Randy had the recipe to do a lot better than what he did. That's my feeling towards Randy Shannon. Not knocking him. I think he was an excellent defense coordinator. But as a head coach, I think he should have done more. He should have been more successful. So we should have recovered right there. 2008, 2009. We were making great progress. My situation happens. That definitely set the program back, let's say 3 to 5 years, I would say. 3 to 5 years. Just because of the stigma, the stench, just the unknown, the uncertainty. So I have to take responsibility, my situation, for a few years. I'd be lying and I'd be non-contrite if I didn't say that. There's no way we shouldn't have been back by now.
Statute of limitation, 100%.
At the end of 2015, anything to do with me, whoosh, gone. Over. There's too much talent there. Brad Kaya was a really good quarterback. Mark Richt was a solid coach, even though he was short term.
So what's your opinion on why then it is taken so long?
I think they've made some really bad hires
Okay.
and rush hires, shotgun in the mouth hires. Mark Richt, I think, came in for stability as a grandfather, calming presence per se. Older father. And I don't think that was necessarily the greatest hire, but I think it was a necessary hire to just settle down the uneasiness of my situation, the Randy Shannon firing, the Al Golden debacle. And I didn't think Manny Diaz was a good hire. And not because I dislike Manny Diaz. I just think that he got that job too soon.
Yeah.
That's it. Mario and paying him all the money he paid, he's proving dividends for paying him that kind of money from a talent standpoint. Miami has recovered very nicely. They got a loaded cupboard now. It wasn't like this when he got back here. So I give Mario full credit. I also give him a little bit of an assist from the NIL landscape.
Definitely helps.
And the city of Miami as a backdrop.
Location and NIL help.
Right?
Yeah.
So you got to be honest about that. But he's done a hell of a job recruiting. So
Absolutely.
fuck everything else I've said. I've never once not said he hasn't. He's always had that Midas touch. Time for excuses are over, man. This is it. It's taken way too long. We went through that period. I thought we really were going to be back 2008. I really did. I thought we were
with
back.
the Northwestern 8.
I thought we were going to be back right there, 08, 09. And bad disappointment. I thought
So you would boil it down to the question coaching
hires.
Yep.
Yeah, specifically.
I mean, I know you alluded to Al Golden, driving a hoop. He thought he was coming in a Lambo, so his situation maybe deserves a little, okay, he didn't walk into a perfect scenario, in a way, but
no, he walked into a cold cock.
Yeah, he got, yeah. So bad. It was so bad.
Yeah, he got he got carjacked.
Yeah. I really think that, and I already said this, like he really should have just fired his defensive coordinator. I mean, and
Yeah,
that really
and then as soon as he did that, he should have fired himself.
I was at that Clemson game. We were down 56-0 at halftime. I was like, is this real? I almost started cheering for Clemson. So I said, if this gets worse, he'll probably get out of here. And that's exactly what happened. So, yeah, that was just,
Did they ever find out who sent that sign overhead? Yeah. Yeah, I was wondering.
yeah, me too. You want to let everyone know?
I had commissary money.
Yeah, it was, yeah, there was someone involved in that banner being. I remember being at all those tailgates, like looking up. I'm like, oh my god, fire Al Golden! Oh man,
They
that
should have
was
said
funny.
fire at Al Golden.
Just start taking shots. Yeah, no, it was that was a tough time, man. It just we Miami got really fortunate, I feel, back in the 80s. You know, they brought in like a Jimmy Johnson who didn't have like crazy amounts of
He was always a
experience.
great defense coordinator. He was
Right.
on that
J-
Pittsburgh Panther staff way before you were around,
yep.
with Johnny Majors.
Dennis Erickson, the
Yeah,
same
yeah. I
deal.
mean, there was a different. It was they
So,
had a different. I remember going through the process close to the program, not in a position of that I inevitably found myself
yeah.
in, but they always had good personnel
Yeah.
staff to go after these type of
Yeah.
coaches. They hit on pretty much all of them.
I know. It was amazing. They just went on this run of almost taking a flyer in a way, but and then it stuck, it worked. Then they got
Yeah,
Erickson and it stuck, it worked.
yeah.
Then they got Butch and it stuck, it worked.
Yeah. Well, Butch had been through it.
Yeah,
So
Butch
Butch
had
and
already
Butch wasn't a
yeah.
great game day coach. I didn't like him a lot as a game day coach, but he was a great personnel guy and he built an insane, well, you know what he built.
Yeah, absolutely. And then as
Yeah.
soon as we hired Coker, it's been a disaster ever since
Well, we
of
had and we were
coaching.
sort of in a no-win position with that because we were ready to win and we just needed someone to drive the bus. That was it.
Yeah, absolutely. So guys, I hope you really enjoyed this one. This one was real fun. We got into a lot of things. So before you guys leave, please click that subscribe button. Again, 250 subscribers. We're giving this toy to one lucky fan. And as always, we'll catch you on the next one.